All right, 24 Elders and Daddy Owen, they're kicking us off this morning. Karibuni tena to the show. This is Full Circle with Joyce. And we want to jump straight into our first conversation for the day. And this is going to be a chat with business leaders or a business leader here today. And her name is Irene Wanjiru, and she's the CEO of Rexy Roofing. Karibu sana to the show and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Joyce.
Yes.
Good to see you again. Thank
Asante sana, asante sana. Now, we want to talk about what it actually takes to run a business or to run a company, to even start a company. And I think, Irene, your story certainly would have a lot of insights for a lot of young entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs as well, to look up to. And so you're in a very interesting industry. It's not really the typical type of business that you would see women running into.
Yeah.
You run a roofing company.
Yes.
Do people ask you about that a lot? Like, do they find it strange that you're in the
In
roofing
fact,
industry?
they actually do. I remember there's even a site meeting I went for, and they said, what are you here? Because we haven't seen anyone before
Yeah.
who is coming to sell us the roofing products and who is running the business. So
Yeah.
we are used, of course, you're used to seeing mostly it's men who are doing this kind of work.
Yeah.
So it is unique, and I've received that feedback
Okay.
several times.
Has
Yeah.
it, at any point, has it been like an advantage, would you say?
I would say yes, it's been an advantage. How? Because sometimes you find somebody saying that, in fact, I want to go with you because I find that there's also the notion that usually women deliver, or the idea is that she will not just run away with the money. So if I pay you, and because initially when we started with taking a lot of deposits from clients, so they were funding their materials before they could get them. And you'd find somebody saying, okay, I think you are least likely to corner, so we will give you the deposit and then we'll see. So I would say that sometimes it does work as an advantage. Yeah, it's not always when it's working against you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then maybe you can share a bit about your background, because how did you even land in roofing in the first
Yeah.
place?
All right. So it was actually quite interesting because if you ask me, let's say like when I was in school, I always thought maybe I'll do law or something like that. But then after I was done with my secondary school education, I thought, okay, maybe I need to do business so that the sooner that I can get some money, the better. But then I pursued business administration, and I happened to find a job in a construction firm. So it was just an entry level job where all I was supposed to do is answer phone calls and like a receptionist. Yeah.
Okay.
So I started from there, and I think for me that's why I say, when just do your best where you are and
Right.
create value. So from there I would try and look around the departments. Nobody asked me, but I would want to know, how does the marketing run, how does this accounting department run, and see how I could help. Because sometimes when you're just picking phone calls, you're not that busy all the
Sure,
time.
sure.
And so through that I found that there were gaps that I could help even inside the organization that I was in. And what happens is that people notice. So if there is room for growth, you are more likely to grow, because you've shown that I'm not just about doing my job and it's 8 to 5 and
They're
I'm
more
off.
likely to pick you.
Exactly. So from there, and also that helped because with my own way, I was also learning about the business. So
Yeah.
it helped both sides. It helped the business and also helped me. So I started like that, and then I got some promotion. So by the time I was leaving the organization, it was a construction firm. I think then I was almost at the highest, because now my immediate
Oh my
boss was the
goodness.
director.
Wow.
And I hadn't people say, oh, there's no growth here. You create growth. You know,
Nice.
it's up to you to create your growth where you are. Most people are looking to see, if I come to your organization,
How are you going to
how
help
are you
me?
help me to grow?
Right.
But how will you help the organization help you to grow?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that was my mindset. So and then from there you would find people asking, why you'd interact with, let's say, contractors or homeowners who would ask, why aren't the industry, why isn't it changing, why isn't it growing? And so I realized, okay, there's still a gap that we can that I would need to address. And but then I started thinking, what about these ideas, what can I do? Always when you hear somebody asking you, where can I find something, the issue is I don't know, or you ask someone else. But look in the mirror, the first person you see is the person who should
So
provide
you
a
chose
solution.
to be that solution.
Yes.
So these were people coming to the company and they couldn't find that solution.
Yes,
your
exactly.
company. Okay.
Yeah. And
Very
then also I
interesting.
had relatives also. I remember an uncle of mine who was saying we agreed on everything else. We are doing a house. The only thing we can't find what we really want is the roof. And he said, "Can you help us?" And I thought, okay, if he's asking me, and I've had this question several times, then it means that there's a value that I can add that is currently
and especially
missing.
because you're saying the company wasn't providing
Yes,
that.
yes.
And I respect that, because too many times, Irene, a lot of people start business by stealing
Yes.
clients,
Yes.
or stealing the ideas and stealing everything from the company where they
Photocopying.
were working. And then you find that there's a lot of broken relationships, a lot of burnt bridges.
True.
What would be your advice then? Because I really like what you're saying. One, you've talked a lot about taking your own initiative. Two, you've said, you know, it's not about being entitled, about that just because I'm young and I have this nice flashy degree that now you owe me. It is for me to look at what value I bring to you.
True.
But even just that notion of starting business right, because this way you're still able to, if you wanted to, if you could, I'm sure you could still partner with that construction company that you were at.
Absolutely.
Maybe you
Yes.
can talk to us, to those who are starting off entrepreneurial ventures this year, and they feel like the only way to do it is just to undercut
Yeah.
people. Is that the way to do business?
I don't even think it's a sustainable model, because supposing I come and I steal your client today, let's say for example with the roof, a roof is not a dress that you'll buy another one, let's say in 2 months or in 1 week. So if you do that, how will you sustain that model? Because I've also seen it with even people who've come and worked for us, and then they feel that, okay, now I can go and take away some of the business from you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't last, because at the end of the day, you also have to remember that if you start wrong, it won't sustain you.
Yeah.
But if you do it right, look for a value. Is there a value that this business you are in is not adding and you feel that you can add? And because every business has its model, they feel that it's not our model. So you could look for a value, an extra value that you can bring in and add into whatever it is you want to go into. But don't just take it, because that's how we also kill innovation.
True.
Yeah? That if you're doing it, then I will do exactly the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah, it's the reason we have like 50 people on a row selling,
Yeah.
you know, bananas
Exactly.
or quail eggs.
No one
Everybody's
is
doing
thinking
the
like,
same.
let me make some juice or let me make ice cream bananas.
We're not
Everyone is
thinking of
thinking
the value add.
yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely. Very interesting conversation here with Irene Wanjiru, CEO of Rexy Roofing. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, it's Rexy Roofing. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And we're here talking about business, right? And what it really takes to start a company and to run it successfully. And, you know, back to roofing now, you heard people kept coming to you with this thing of, Maze, where do I find this? And I'm just thinking of the number of times that we hear such statements. And then because we're not thinking ahead, we're not thinking proactively, kumbe there might be business ideas that have just prepared you like that,
True,
right? Because we're
true.
not like thinking in the moment. We're not looking to be solution providers. So clearly at this point, you didn't necessarily have any sort of background in roofing.
No.
How did you then move from someone is asking you a question, you don't know the answer, but you've gone and figured it out and now you're providing the solution?
Because already at least I had the notion of what is required, like let's say if you're putting up a house, and the main issue in fact was not just the roof, it was something unique. People
Okay.
were really tired of the same look and everything else, that my house must look like yours.
Right.
And so it was also at a time that people were traveling a lot, so they could see, like if you go to, let's say, North America, they would realize that what they have there, we don't have it here. And I think it's what they say, if you think a lot about a yellow car, then you start seeing yellow cars everywhere. If you think about music school, then you start seeing signposts that you've never seen before on music school. So when I started thinking in terms of this, I remember one day I just walked into an exhibition, and there were international manufacturing companies that you could contract, and they were looking to partner with a Kenyan company.
Nice.
But then I wouldn't have, it's just that things start falling into place, because you are looking for them.
Right.
Before you weren't looking, so you weren't finding.
Okay.
But then when you start looking and going out there, then you start finding that, okay, there's this, if there's this company, then I don't have even to reinvent everything. I can tell them what we require for our market.
Right.
And then ask the people, you told me you needed something unique. If I give you something unique, are you willing to pay for it?
Right.
Because that's also how you know. Sometimes people will tell you, I want this, but then you
they're not
present it, they're
willing.
like, oh, no, not today. So if then they are willing to pay for it, even at the initial stage, because before we brought in even the product, people had paid for the product.
Wow.
Yeah.
let's talk about this product.
Yeah.
How does this compare to what we usually have?
Yeah. So if we take, like, for example, this kind of a product, the
Yeah.
roofing shingle. So you
Okay.
see how flexible
Yeah,
it is.
quite.
Yeah. So this makes it possible for usually all the roof you've seen, Joyce, I'm sure, they are very hard. You know, they are
Yeah.
always something like this, which
Yeah.
is a bit hard.
Yeah.
But this is not like your usual roofing
So
product.
this just goes on as is?
So you put it on a board, a farm decking on this, and then you put the shingle on it. So what also that means is that you're not limited to the designs of your house. So
Interesting.
you start finding a lot of circular roofs now, and people couldn't do them before.
Yeah.
So we are also bringing in, for the architects especially, we are telling them, let your design not be limited to the materials that are available, because our idea is to provide a solution so that you can continue being innovative.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that people are asking for colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be red.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Tunapitanga vumbi.
so we had now also introduced a whole range of different colors.
This is the same material.
Yes, the same material. And now if you want red, nothing bad with red.
Right.
In fact, some of our major projects like the Hub Karen Mall is
Yeah.
done with the red and a bit of black.
Yeah.
So now you don't have just one color. Most of the roofs you'd find before was, if it's blue, it's just a blue roof.
Right.
Now there's so much.
That green is gorgeous.
Yeah, I know. This also, we've used it in Mount Kenya Holiday Homes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Look at this. It's very pretty. I really like this one. I actually like this one and this one. And this one too.
You see? Now imagine if you're
I'm
doing
like,
your
I like
house.
this one and I want that. I'm kidding.
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
But
it's very
now you have
nice.
a choice.
Very
So
nice.
the idea was also to bring a choice that most of the other companies weren't having. So we have different choices that clients can pick from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cost-wise then, how does this compare to what is usually on the market? Is this a premium product?
It is actually a premium product, but even to talk about costing, I say I like to compare also in terms of time. Sometimes we are used to comparing a cost and saying as of today, but the cost should not just be about today. It's also about, like, we have a very unique warranty for this product, up to 50 years. So
Yeah.
if you spend the money today, you're not just looking at it in terms of today, you're looking at it in terms of the 50 years that you're going to be having the roof or passing it on to the next generation. So if you look at it like that, then the cost is actually much more worth it than just saying, okay, I'll spend 100 bob today, but then you'll need to spend another 200 tomorrow. Yeah.
And so really then, looking back at your journey, like roofing the hub, I mean, that is a huge project. And here you're talking about Mount Kenya Holiday Homes as well. Was the hub either your first project or your biggest?
The first biggest.
The first biggest
Yes,
project.
yes.
For those now who have started their own entrepreneurial ventures, they would love to get a contract. I mean, obviously a contract like that one just changes everything,
True,
right? Because
true.
then you're able to pitch differently to other companies. How did you even get there? Like, how did you kuna watu wana struggle hata na appointments. Kuna ka secretary mahali anawafungia mlango hata simu hashiki.
Yeah.
So, how did you even get your name through the door? How did you do that first step? Because there's a lot of young people who have great business ideas, but are really struggling with how to just get heard. Like, they just want an opportunity to pitch. What would be your counsel to them as far as how to get their foot in the door?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, because if we take like the hub project, in fact, I would say start by doing a good job. You know why? Before we did the hub, we did another project that the developer of the hub saw. So had we done a shoddy
poor
job,
job, yeah.
nobody will even look at you twice.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit better because the roof is somewhere where everybody can see. So if it's good, it's good. So it was in fact just a residential project, but we did it so well that when the developer saw it, said, okay, I would like that kind of a roof for my project. So you position yourself by first doing it right, because sometimes we are so eager to want the big one, but we are not ready to first take the small ones so that we can start even the practice of doing it right.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, don't be afraid to start small. I mean,
Yeah.
for me to, even when I to start Brexit Roofing, it was just a desk and myself and emails and phone calls, endless phone calls and endless site visits. Most people say no, a few other people said yes. So, but it didn't like deter me. So it doesn't mean that I started thinking it's the hub I want to do, but then it
Right.
hadn't even started because we did it much later.
Right.
So the idea is, when you're doing even that one small project,
never know
even
who's
if you're given a
watching.
get host to do,
Yeah.
just do it like it's the hub.
Yeah.
So when the hub comes, then somebody will recognize and say, "Oh, I've seen their project."
Yeah, you never know who's watching, and it's so important to just
Exactly.
be faithful, right?
Yeah,
So if you
exactly.
can't do a job for 10,000 Bob Vizuri,
You'll not
we
do
can't
for
trust
60
you to
million.
do for
Yes.
60 million or for 10 million.
Yes.
Great
Yes.
advice there by you, Irene. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for joining us.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure to talk to you. I hope you guys have
Yeah.
been challenged, especially you young entrepreneurs. I know a lot of people have on their 2020 list, they want to start a business, they want to, build their companies. And hopefully you've been paying attention to Irene here and her very inspiring story. So thank you once
Thank
again.
you so much for having me.
And we do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we need to take a break now. But this is Full Circle with Joyce. Do keep it locked right here. Stay tuned.